Many of you might know my dad as Mr. Price and as a math teacher here at Brooks. However, not many of you know my mom, Nikki. My mom is a very busy woman, as she currently runs a company that she founded in our kitchen about 12 years ago. By watching my mom's journey with her business, I first encountered the concept of service and helping others. I'm here tonight to show how my mom's commitment to service has led to a journey of my own. Helping others and the concept of community service did not come natural at first, to say the least. When I was in middle school, I was an altar boy for my church. It was a 4-hour liturgy, and I was standing for probably 2 hours. I decided to go to the bathroom behind the altar and take a break. I sat on the sink to give my legs a rest, and I played on my phone. After a while, I figured it was time to head back. So I decided to flush the toilet to make it seem as if I was actually using the bathroom. Still sitting on the sink, I reached for the handle. Simultaneously, my phone fell into the flushing toilet, and the sink that I was sitting on became removed from the wall. There were broken pipes that damaged the whole bathroom. On top of all that, the phone that I lost actually got stuck in a pipe underneath the church and later had to be dug up. I think it was safe to say that God was watching. After thousands of dollars in damage, I was assigned 25 hours of community service to the church to pay off my debts, which I think was bare minimum. As you can imagine, in this stage of my life, I was not excited to help out. My first day on the job was a 5-hour shift. I spent those 5 hours removing wax from the carpet with an iron. By the time my mom picked me up, I was in tears. I begged to never go back. We sat in the parking lot for some time, and she started to explain to me some of the things that her company has done to give back to the community, and why helping others isn't always a bad thing. She told me that her company gives about 6% of all profits to people all around the world. I immediately asked, why would you give away all that money? She explained that her company has a mission to help those in need. My mom's company helps liberate slaves in South Sudan and provides therapy dogs for wounded veterans. This was a lot to take in at the time, and I didn't fully understand the significance. While working with the church was challenging at first, I slowly started to enjoy it, slowly. It was not because the work got any easier, but because I started to get to know the janitor on a personal level. The work slowly became less about my punishment and more about helping out my new friend, Sparrow. Sparrow has worked for the church for over 30 years and is one of the most hardworking people I've ever met. As a Greek immigrant, he struggled finding work here in the United States and is doing the best to provide for his family. When I complained about my service hours, he just laughed. He said, "Buddy, I'm here 50 hours a week, 52 weeks a year." I was honestly at a loss for words. I felt selfish, ignorant, entitled, and unworthy. I finished the rest of my service hours with a different attitude. Now it wasn't about me. I wasn't thinking about how much I wanted to leave anymore. I stopped asking, "Spiro, how much longer?" Instead, I was focused on working as hard as I possibly could so Spiro could get back to his family. After I finished my hours with the church, my life went back to normal. But now I understood why my mom would give up all that money that she could have otherwise put back into the company or even herself. The part I missed was that there's a special feeling you get when you help somebody else. If it were not for my experience at the church, I don't think I would have ever experienced this. I wanted to chase that feeling. I didn't want it to leave me. The following summer, my mom and I signed up for a mission trip in Tijuana, Mexico. If you all are not familiar with Tijuana, let's just say it's not quite Cancun. After crossing the border, we caravanned to an orphanage where we were escorted by armored trucks carrying heavy assault rifles. I looked to my mom and said, "This is not quite what I signed up for." Our job was to build a home for a family in need, and we had 1 week to do it. When I first saw the house we were going to rebuild, I was appalled. The family of 5 lived in a clay house, and it had a tarp for a roof. After the first few days, we all got to know the family. I used what little Spanish I knew to communicate with the boy my age. I actually got his number, which is kind of cool. But he never texted me because all the fees and everything, so whatever. I will say the work was tough. I struggled physically and mentally. However, every time I got deterred, I looked over at Diego, and I remembered my conversation with Sparrow, where I complained about my service hours. I told myself that day that I would never be so selfish again, and it gave me the power to work through the heat and the exhaustion. I wanted to build that family the best house on the block. My passion for helping others is still present in my life today. After moving out here, I started to go into a homeless shelter in Lawrence called Corinum. I've developed relationships with both the volunteers and the people that are going there for a meal. There's actually a table in the back of the room that has all the regulars, and they call it the cool table. And I get assigned there every time. Even though they live completely different lives than me, we always find a way to relate. Whether it's talking about sports, the news, or them making fun of my Spanish skills, I always walk out of there with a smile. And I think I have my mom to thank for that. She opened my eyes to something I was completely oblivious to. She allowed me to follow my own path and independently develop into a person that I never thought I could be. A few weeks ago, I flew home to Colorado to attend my grandfather's funeral. After the church service, there was the typical coffee hour with people eating food and drinks and for everyone that went. As the night came to an end, I saw Sparrow, frantically packing up all the chairs and trying to clean up as fast as he could. I went over to ask him if I could help, and he persisted, no, your grandfather just died. How could I make you work? I looked at him and laughed. I said, Sparrow, come on, just like old times. Thanks, guys, that's all I got.